What's up, everybody? It is Nacho Jedi, and here we go, another weekend. I'm here again. Hope you guys are had a good week, and I hope you have a great weekend. I know my week has been very, very long, so I'm excited for this and excited to kind of relax and just be with you guys for a bit. Today it's gonna be a real simple episode. Got this inspiration from our previous episode with my sister 2 weeks ago now. When we were going over nostalgia trips and stuff, and we were talking about some old games, and it made me think. You know what? I wonder if there's like a tier list somewhere that maybe I can just put my little 2 cents in. And I found one. Maybe remember like there's so many old Star Wars games. Some I've played a lot. I haven't because they were before my time, or I just never really got into it like that. But we're gonna be going into it. If you have any suggestions, if you played a game that I haven't, or you disagree or you agree, whatever, leave a comment, and we'll just continue to talk through and stuff. I'm pretty excited for it, and yeah. Let's get to this. It should be fun. I'm excited for this. All right. Let's do this real quick. And let's see. All right, here we go. All right, so as you see, I already have a couple of games that I know for sure I don't remember playing. So I already put them in the category of haven't played. I want to focus on games that I have played. So I went in, kind of already did that for us. So here we got different categories. I want to name them something different though. I haven't played, heard good things. So if I also haven't played them, but I heard good things about the game, I'll put it in that category. I don't really like E. And when schools did the whole E instead of F, that used to irritate me for sure. What should be S tier? We'll do this. There you go. Being forced choked would be the bottom of the barrel. Like it was so bad. I'm not gonna sit here and and even try to do anything with that game anymore. We'll do. Here we go. Everybody's into this lately. We'll do Darth Jar Jar as S tier. Everybody is going crazy over the whole Jar Jar being Sith Lord. What if Lego series thing that's coming out. So we'll do that. Then we'll keep the rest kind of A, B, C, D. Yeah, so here we go. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger or smaller so I can see what's going on here. Cool. So a lot of the stuff on the bottom category is a lot of really older games from either the really early 90s, early 80s, and some of the newer stuff. Like I didn't play the Angry Birds. I didn't play the Clone Wars stuff when it first came out. That just wasn't my thing at the time. So I'm not gonna sit there and put that anywhere. So we're gonna start off here. The first game that we have right now is Star Wars Pod Racer. Now, funny thing about this, I actually just re-downloaded this game. It's on my Xbox. It's actually pretty fun. I still play it occasionally. It's very easy now that I'm older, and I'm just blowing through every level. It's no problem. Back in the day, I didn't realize this, but you could buy parts to upgrade your pod racer. I never did, so I was playing this game on extra hard mode for no reason. But now that I'm older and I'm wiser and I can understand that, hey, this is what it does. I buy the parts and it's just easy, just blowing right through the competition. It holds up pretty well. It's still a fun little thing to kind of go back to if you just want to kill some time and stuff. It's not like amazing or anything like that. So I'm gonna just leave it in C tier for right now. Just because, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. It was kind of like in the middle. You play it, you have a good time. but it is old and it doesn't hold up the way that some of these other games does. But it is still pretty good. The movement's pretty good and stuff. I have a pretty good time. So I'm gonna say high C tier. I could potentially put in the very bottom of B tier, but I'm gonna stick with C tier. Next is this. I want to say this is Star Wars Arcade. I don't remember really playing it. I know there was a lot of arcade games in like what's it called, like Chuck E. Cheese and all these little arcade stuff back in the day, but I can't remember if I played this one. But I heard that people really used to enjoy these arcade games back in the day. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in heard good things because why not? I've heard good things about it. Next, we're gonna do Star Wars Bounty Hunter. All right, so I really like this game. It's been a while since I played it. I want to put it in A, but I might put it in B. Just for the nostalgia factor of it right now, I'm gonna put in A for my own personal thing. I really enjoy the aspect of playing as Jango Fett and going around collecting bounties and flying in the jetpack and stuff. I felt like the jetpack needed some more fuel sometimes, but overall, it was a really fun game running around and doing missions and playing as Jango Fett. Especially back then, he was a really cool character to me. I think cool character to a lot of people. So being able to play as him was actually very fun. We have another arcade game. Once again, I know people back, they really liked the arcades. Like the 80s were really big with arcade games. So I'm gonna move all the arcade games down here because I know they're pretty good. I never got to play them too much outside of maybe Chuck E. Cheese, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed that. Next, we have Lego Star Wars. So this one was fun. I definitely enjoyed um, playing this with my sisters. Um, it was a pretty decent game. I enjoyed it. I'll put it in B. It was fun to play. It was fun to have a good time with, but at the same time, it's still a Lego game, so it's it's fine. I'm not gonna really rate Lego games too high. B would be probably as far as I go. They're all pretty funny. They all have their own little things, but this one was more near and dear to my heart because of the history I have with it. I believe this is another arcade game. This one was pretty good, apparently too. I know a lot of these games they were based off of the original trilogy, of course, and a lot of people would play it. I think this one was, um, I want to say it was Return of the Jedi, but I'm not 100% sure. But once again, I didn't play the arcade games like that. Oh, this is a more recent game. Was it Jedi Squadrons? I want to say is what it's called. Um, it was okay. I I played it for a little bit. I couldn't really get through it. I didn't really like too much of the game, so I'm gonna stick it in D tier. It looks nice. It feels nice. I just couldn't get into it. It just wasn't that, like, it didn't like captivate me any sort of way. So um, yeah. So that's gonna be my D tier right there. Ah, Jedi Master. Okay, so this game was more like a Mortal Kombat type of feel. You got to fight hand to hand, with lightsabers and stuff, or just fist fight. It was pretty cool. Funny thing about this game is probably the only, like, and my brother will probably remember, maybe not, but he brought this game up a long time ago. And he's like, "Man, what was that? Remember that Star Wars game? You fist fight each other?" I was like, "Yes, I do remember that game. It was fun." Um, had it on the PlayStation One. It was a pretty fun game. Looking back at it now, it's rough. It's rough to see and it's rough to watch. I saw some more gameplay about it because I haven't had this game in a long time. People making fun of the controls and just the animation of them fighting and stuff. And yeah, fun at the time, really good, PlayStation One game. But now it just doesn't hold up the same. So I'm gonna say it's kind of like a mid tier game. And we have the 2015 Battlefront. when the game first released, I didn't really care for it. I bought it. I was at first I was super excited, but when I was playing it, I was like, "What is this stupid card system?" It was a bunch of weirdness. People seem to enjoy it. It's been mixed with people either hate it or people really love it. Me personally, like it's one of those games that's there. I haven't gone back to it in a long time. So since other people like it, I'm gonna put it in C tier. But me personally, I just wasn't a big fan at first. And there's no campaign mode. That was the other thing that kind of killed me with it. I was like, there's no campaigns. Battlefront had campaign. I was like, it was missing a lot of those little small things. I know it got better over the years, but that's still a thing that sticks to me. Um, Next, we have the OG Battlefront. I like how they put Battlefront and the OG Battlefront together. This one, I'm going to put in A tier. Reason being, it's really the first game that Star Wars did this way. And it kind of was a stepping stone for the Battlefront 2, and it had a lot of really good things going for it. I really enjoyed this game. Um, and even now, I remember it was a while ago, I was streaming it on Twitch, and it was still very fun. It was still challenging at times. You're like, oh man, why can't I remember how to beat this level? But I definitely enjoyed it for when it came out. It's a really, really good game. I feel like it still holds up. The controls weren't too bad. Um, Unlike some of these other games that we'll be talking about. Star Wars The Phantom Menace, I did play um, so long ago. I can't really remember too much about it. I just know that it's just an older game, and you can tell that it just doesn't live up to it. It was fun at the time, but I don't think it would just hold to the test of time. I'll put it in D tier because it was okay. I remember it was just there. It was not like the most amazing game where I was like, oh, I want to play this game all the time, but it was there and I enjoyed it when I had it. Um, let's see. We got Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, the game. All right. So this one, I'm going to put an A tier. It was extremely fun. Going in, playing as Anakin, playing as Obi-Wan. You had different missions going back and forth. It was extremely fun, and even the player versus player aspect of it, where you can 1v1 in like an arena, playing as Count Dooku, General Grievous, Anakin, Obi-Wan. There is so much. You followed the story of Revenge of the Sith, but in a different way. Not everything was exactly the same, as the movie. And the best part, at least one of my favorite parts, was not only the fight scene with Syndralic, but the alternate ending where you can fight like you're Anakin and you kill Obi-Wan instead of him cutting you to pieces and having the high ground. You take the high ground and then you kill him, and then you go in, see the Emperor. He says you did a good job, and then you kill him too. And it was just a cool little scene. I definitely enjoyed that. I played the alternate ending a lot more than I played the actual ending because I just found it very cool. So that one has a near dear place in my heart because that one was just so much fun to play. Next we have Dark Forces. Dark Forces. Okay, so this game, it's old too, but I'm gonna put this one in A tier for one specific reason. If it moves, there we go. I'm putting this in A tier just for the simple fact that it was the first Star Wars first-person shooter game, like that actually one had a story, had multiple really good levels, and kind of was the building block of some of these other games that we're going to be talking about in this video. Because it laid the foundation for a bunch of other games, and that's why I'm putting in A tier. Probably really belongs in B, but just for the simple fact that it had like a very special impact in the Star Wars gaming universe. That's why I would put it in A tier. Rebels Assault. I didn't really like. I played it a couple times. I didn't play a lot. Um, I heard mixed things. A lot of people didn't really like the controls. I want to say it was with this game. Um, I'm just gonna put it in C tier. I feel like it was just a basic average game. It was whatever. Star Wars. These games. Okay, so they made a lot of Star Wars Episode 2 games, and it was for like the Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance, DS, or something like that. And I guess they're fun for a handheld game, but man, they're pretty rough. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in being force choked because it wasn't the greatest. I just wasn't. Um, there's many other games that you could play. They did that a lot with Episode 1 and Episode 2. They did a lot of these small handheld games, which I guess is fine, but overall, like, just doesn't stand the test of time. Next we have yes. So we're gonna go with Jedi Fallen Order. I'm gonna put this in B tier. I liked the game. It was fun to play. It was a breath of fresh air from the other games that we were getting, Star Wars related at the time. Wasn't a big fan of those games. This one kind of restored my faith a little bit in the Star Wars games. So I was kind of happy. I enjoyed the character. I enjoyed the story. I really liked what they did with Darth Vader, where he was just OP. You ain't killing that man, which is the right way to do it. Overall, really good. Still some things that I wish you could have done more, but they fixed it. The things that I wanted, they put in the second game. So I'm going to put this one in B tier just for those different things that they added in Jedi Survivor later on, which I'm going to go through. So here we go. Our first Darth Jar Jar tier is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, this game, like I said in the previous episode, just was life, man. This game was awesome. The story was great. The gameplay was a little weird. You know, you have to get used to the whole turn-based thing where you can't just spam the button to just start swinging at people. You kind of like they shoot at you, you shoot at them type of thing. But outside of that, just the story alone, the way that you can make decisions so you can be more light side or more dark side, that was cool. You can kind of just stay neutral in the game. That was always a cool aspect. I found it very interesting and very cool little detail. Like the more dark side you went, the like more like messed up your face become. Your eyes turn more red. You look more gray. And then the more light side you were, the more like brighter you looked. That was pretty cool. The next game that they have is Knights of the Old Republic 2. Okay, so a lot of people really like this game too. I enjoyed it. The only issue I have is when it first released, especially on console, there was a lot of things that were cut out, a lot of content that was cut out, and a lot of the game just felt incomplete. There was a lot of little side quests, side stories that just wasn't finished, and that's an issue when you're trying to play a game, especially if you get captivated in a part of a story that just isn't going to be expanded upon, and that's never cool. I really wasn't a big fan of that. There was some story, some lines in the game, or some stories in the game that just never got finished, and that was kind of a sucky thing. And then when I found out my friend had it because he was on PC and I didn't have it because I was on Xbox, definitely irritated me a little bit more. I was like, man, the heck, man, we paid money for this too. But so that's why I'm gonna put it in B tier. Next we have Lego Star Wars 2. So this one, I guess you can say, was a little bit better than the other one that I just did. I'll put it in the same tier though. If anything, I guess I can move it in front if it lets me. Let's see. I'll put it in front of it so we know. The only reason why I'll put it just barely in front is because you could create your own little Lego character, and you could put yourself in the story, and that was a little cool concept. So it was not a bad game. It was okay. I'm not gonna sit here and do any like say anything bad about it. It was a fine game. Looks like we're gonna go through a whole series of Lego Star Wars right now. The third one was okay. It's just another Lego game. It's the same thing. They just add a little bit more stuff to it. But I'm not a real huge fan of Lego games. I'm probably going to put the rest of these in C tier because they're all relatively the same. They try to add new things like adding voices to them and stuff, but overall, it's relatively the same. Now people enjoy Lego Star Wars games. That's cool. Um, this one though, this Lego Star Wars game, I'm gonna bump down one because it had an issue where it just crashed or you couldn't get past a certain part because the game kept crashing at that part. And it took me forever to get it to finally work. And it was super irritating because you get stuck in this screen where you're just going through hyperspace the whole entire time and you never finished. And then it took me like a couple days and finally it decided to work and let me through. Um, just because it irritated me so much, I'm putting it in D tier because that was dreadful. I couldn't stand it. It was the most annoying thing, especially when you're trying to play with somebody and I'm like, what the heck's going on with this game? But yeah, I couldn't stand it. It was not fun at all doing that. The rest of the game was fine, but when it crashed like that, that was the worst part about it. Next, we have Republic Commandos, near and dear to my heart. I'm putting this in Darth Jar Jar. Um, Great game, great story. It was different, similar to like a Halo style game. Um, you were first person shooter as well. You got to aim down your sights, shoot around, but the difference was you can command the team that was around you, the Delta Force. Um, and that was super fun. Tell someone, slice the door or plant an explosive. You can tell them to focus fire on somebody. All meanwhile, you can run around and start shooting at everybody. It was pretty cool. Definitely a great game. Um, so next we have, what was that? So disclaimer, our weather here is not the best right now. So you might see weird things like lights flickering and stuff, but we'll keep powering on until the internet goes out. Next we have Rebel Assault. This game was okay. I know that the controls were pretty bad on this, and a lot of people just didn't like the way that everything moved. So I'm gonna put that in D tier for that reason. If I can't control what I need to do in a timely manner, then obviously I'm not going to have a good time. I'm going to keep dying. Especially a lot of these games back then were very unforgiving on some of the levels. And if you lost, like you lost your life, you would have to restart that whole level, and that was never fun. Let's see. See what we have here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. It's hard to read the. Yeah. This is another Battlefront game. So I remember this one vaguely. I know that it was pretty decent. Story-wise, it was okay, but also controller-wise, it was not the best. Overall, people really enjoyed it, but the controls of that game weren't super good. I'm trying to read the name of it, but it's very small. But I do remember the cover of it, so I'm gonna put it in D here because if I can't control my character, then what's the whole point? Um, Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Here we go, and back that up real quick. All right. Next, let's see here. Battlefront 2. Oh, what just happened? All right, it kept backing up. See, I'm telling you, Wi-Fi is not working the best right now. All right, so this is the Battlefront 2, the most recent game, or recent Battlefront game. I enjoyed it. I was very excited when it was coming out. It looks beautiful. Like the way that the graphics looked and everything was really nice. They brought a campaign back, which I know a lot of people were mad about the first time, and they had different game modes that they brought back that wasn't in the last Battlefront game that came out in 2015. I want to say 2015. This one came out a little bit more recent than that, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Still a lot of that Um, what's it called? Campaign was decent. I wouldn't say the campaign was the best, but it was decent enough. It gave us some of the stuff that we were looking for. Overall, it looks beautiful and stuff. I enjoy it, but at the same time, like if you weren't grinding very beginning, like the skill gap got really, really big, really, really fast. So a lot of that online portion of it was very one-sided if you didn't really play. Um, Next one we have the OG Battlefront 2. This one I am gonna put in S tier. Um, because the campaign was amazing. You went through it was through the eyes of the 501st Soldier, um, recalling the events of the Clone Wars through Order 66, and his through his eyes during the rise of the Empire. Awesome game. The campaign was very very fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Galactic Conquest. I talked about that in the last episode too, where you can fight different factions and take over different planets. And there was one game mode. It was like heroes versus villains, and you just all were in Tatooine just fighting, um, and that was very fun too. This next game, Jedi Outcast. Jedi Outcast. I love this game. I absolutely do. I wouldn't say it's in Darth Jar Jar tier, but I will give it an A tier. Like I said earlier, remember Dark Forces? Yeah, that was basically the stepping stone for this game that came out years later. But this game was fun because you got to be a Jedi. You got to use a bunch of different guns, force abilities, jumping around. You can even have different game modes like capture the flag and stuff. It was a really fun game, and the campaign was really good. Continuing on from the Dark Forces campaign as well, all these stories kind of lined up with each other, and playing as Kyle was always fun. I definitely enjoyed playing Kyle, which is weird to say because Kyle is not really a name you would be like, yeah, this guy's awesome. But next we have Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. This game was fun too. I'll put it in the same category. Um, Gameplay was pretty much the same. Only difference is you got to create your character, which that's always cool. People like to create their own character, make their person look however they want. So that's always a fun thing. That's always a good concept, and people really like that. So I'm definitely going to put that in A tier. Next, we have, I want to say this is Star Wars, I say Squadron or something like that. I can't remember. I can't read it too well. It's kind of small. But this one also had really bad controls when it came out. Uh, Looked, it was okay. I'm not going to, I don't want to put it on being force choked, but um, yeah, I guess I'll put it in D tier for now. It was okay. It was a good concept. It was the first of its kind, really, um, from when I was growing up. First time I really seen it. But it was okay. It was pretty rough in some places and unforgiving. This is another one like Shadow of the Empire. Good game, good story. The controls were just atrocious at times. It was very hard to move your character and stuff. So I'll say like overall, like if it was story based only, then this would be higher. But um, if, if I can't enjoy the game because I can't move the way I want to, then I can't be playing that game. I can't be rating it high. Um, let's see what's next. Let me see if I can remember this game. I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can zoom in. I gotta read this because I know it's one of the flying games. Attack Squadrons. Okay. I want to say this was that the I want to say that was the second game to Rebel Squadron or Rogue Squadron, I should say. I want to say this was the second game. I know the second game was better because the controls were fixed for the most part, and it was in a different platform. So the way that the game looked overall was a lot better too. People really enjoyed that, especially for that time. So I'm not gonna put in being forced choke because I feel like that's the correct game I'm thinking about. Could be something else. No, I can't remember. I'm gonna just put it in C or D tier for right now. I'm gonna try to remember this one. This game is it's been a while since I played that game, but I want to say it was actually okay, unless it was one of these others. But we'll keep going just in case. Star Wars Starfighter. This one was pretty cool because you get to finally fly in the cockpit and you're you know doing your thing as like little Anakin flying around and stuff. It was okay. The story was decent. You met a lot of new characters that get brought up in the next Star Wars Starfighter game, which was Jedi Starfighter. So this one's focused more on like the Naboo ship and stuff, but it was okay. The controllers were a little janky, but outside of that, um, it was decent. I can't sit here and complain too much. I'm not. I'll put it in probably D tier at best if it moves. There we go. And then we have the the Super Star Wars. So these next three games actually are all relatively the same. Um, Back in the day, I guess this would be like really really high, like tier, maybe probably B. Um, but it is old. It was kind of similar to like Super Mario, like that type of gameplay, that kind of type of style. Um, I don't know where I want to put this. Um, I'm gonna put it in heard good things. I played it. I played at least the first one for sure, but it's so old. I can't really like. I don't want to judge it too harshly, because that was just its time. So I'm gonna put in heard good things. People really enjoyed it back then, but I can't really say that I would put it any higher than that. Super Bombad Racing. Okay, so this one is supposed to be kind of similar to like Mario Kart, um, but just Star Wars. I didn't really like it when I played it. It looked kind of goofy. Everybody had like big heads and stuff. I guess it was maybe fun. I didn't really care for it, so I'm just gonna put it in being forced choke because it was just whatever. It didn't really do anything for me. It's very forgettable. Um, then you have Jedi Knight. Yes, this is the second. I think the second Jedi Knight game. I want to say the second Jedi Knight game. Let me see. Did I already do the other two? No, I want to say this is the second one. So this is right after Dark Forces. This is a pretty good game too. Continue to lay down the foundation for Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast. So I'm gonna put this in B tier. It had a pretty decent impact, but not as much as, of course, the original, and the gameplay wasn't as good as the other two. So that would be my B tier for right now. And then we have, oh yeah, okay, the other Battlefronts. So these I think were on the Nintendo DS, and I barely played them because I didn't really have a DS. I was bumming off of other friends and stuff like that when I was playing. Um, Decent too. I think this is the second one. If this is the second one, it was better than the first, if I remember correctly. Yes, the story was better because in this one you're a clone, and you have a twin brother clone, and apparently you're force sensitive. He becomes bad, you become good, and you can actually fist fight, shoot. Story wise, it was pretty cool. Gameplay, it was all right. It was the DS, so I'm not gonna sit here and criticize it too much. But yeah, that one I'll put above the first one because this one had the better story for sure. Um, Now we have Rogue Leader and then Rebel Strike. I want to say they're both in the same story. Yeah, because this was yeah. So the Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader, and Rogue Strike are all the same three different games. But yeah, okay. So it wasn't Rebel Assault, and okay, so this was the first one. It was not good when it came to the gameplay. This one was a step up. The graphics were a lot better, and you can tell because it was on a different system now. I think this one was on the GameCube, and the other one was on a Nintendo 64. So you saw a big difference. This one was much better. I'm gonna put it in, but how much better? Hmm. I'm gonna say I'm gonna probably stick with C tier. It was a lot better than the first one though. So yeah, we'll go C tier for right now. And then Rebel Strike, unfortunately, it was not too long after Rogue Leader came out. This one came out, so there wasn't anything that like stood out with like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like Rogue Leader, and what they did with Rogue Leader and what they did with Rogue Squadron is you kind of start off in the same spot, like in Tatooine, flying. Everything's kind of scenery wise is the same, but you can just see the difference in like how much times has changed between the two games because one just looks way better than the other, and I feel like that's what makes Rogue Leader like better than Rogue Squadron, and they fixed the controllers. Um, Rebel Strike didn't have that luxury for the simple fact that it didn't come out like too much later. So I'll put it in like lower C tier, I guess. Still decent. They changed some things out, but it wasn't like crazy good. Next we got Force Unleashed. If anything screams childhood, this is one of those games. Like everybody was playing this game, and everybody loved this game. This one was really good. Um, I'm debating on S tier because of how much of an impact it had versus A tier. The story was really good though. I think I am gonna put it in Darth Jar Jar tier. It was that impactful. I feel like so many people play that game, and so many people just know that game, and just the simple fact that the voice actor just is just a G in everything that he does, and it's the voice of Darth Maul and stuff too. So, got to put some respect on the guy. I really enjoyed that game. It was fun to play, still fun to play, and very impactful. A lot of people was like, "Dude, this guy's awesome. Star Killer just overpowered, just so strong." And you're like, "Dude, where is this guy this whole entire time?" But yeah, I really enjoyed Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed 2, very good game, very solid game. Step below maybe 2. Story wise, it was a little rougher. It was harder. I think it's still overall a pretty good game. It gets mixed. Maybe high B, low A. I'll put it there. I feel like that's fair. Um, Next we have Star Wars: The Old Republic. This is the PC game. Um, yeah, I played it. It's pretty good. You know, story wise, it's always been good. And then the little cutscenes that they have, or little trailers that they have, kind of promoting it, were always just so fire. So I'm definitely gonna put that in A because people still play it. It's still very fun. It looks nice. So definitely got to put respect on the Old Republic. Next, this X-wing. I want to say I've heard good things. I never got to play it myself. A lot of people like it. A lot of people I've seen still play it. So that's pretty cool. It means it's keeping up with this time. You know, people are really enjoying it, even though it does look a little old, but it's pretty fun. Next, we have Jedi Survivor. So I'm gonna put this in A tier. It gave me more of what I wanted. They expanded on the character Cal, and they also allowed you to kind of modify him a little bit, so you can make him look, really crazy if you really wanted to give him mullet and stuff. But very fun game. I know some people have issues with it, like it crashing and stuff like that. I personally didn't have those issues, so I'm not gonna sit here and knock it for that. But overall, story's pretty good. Um, I enjoyed playing it, and you can sit here and roam around the world and different planets and stuff, which is fun. Um, just keep moving on. Battle for Naboo, didn't care for it. It was whatever. It's like being force choked. Same with the New Jordan Army. I hate crapping on episode 2 like that because that's already 2 games and then 2 games episode 1. But it sucks because all of these are like, especially these two, are like DS games. They're okay, but I'm not gonna play it. I guess if you have a DS and you want to, you can. This was the same way. Obi-Wan's Adventure, it's okay, barely, I guess. Jedi Starfighter. So this was the second game. This is the one that I played the most out of the 2 Starfighter games. I enjoyed it. They expand on the story. You got to be a Jedi. You use a bunch of cool Force abilities while flying in the air. You don't do any like hand-to-hand combat or anything. You're solely just flying around. I'll put it high C tier. It was pretty good, but I couldn't put it past that. Star Wars Galaxy. Okay, I played this a very little bit, but this game gets so much hate now. Apparently, it's just really bad at the moment, and yeah. So I'm gonna put it down here. It started off strong, and then it just kept getting worse. Same with this one. I don't really care for it. We got 2 more. Mysteries of the Sith. Wow, I forgot that this game was there. It's been so long. But Mysteries of the Sith, also a part of the whole Dark Forces, Jedi Knight type of thing. Really good game as well. It was slightly longer than Dark Forces, if I remember correctly, but at the same time, it had its own really good story. It wasn't even supposed to be like a real like game like that. More like, I guess you can kind of say it was supposed to be some sort of DLC version, but it was a really, really good game. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. The very little bit I got to play of it, but it was pretty fun. And the story was good. Next, we have the Galaxy Hero. So this game's okay. I played it a couple times. I think it's on the phone too and stuff, but it's okay. I know some people play it. I'm not gonna, belittle it too much, but yeah, it's whatever. It was never really those are definitely not my types of games, and at this point, I was kind of over some of these on like mobile games. So yeah, so let's see. Let's back up here. Let's see if we can get a full picture. Now, if I was to rate these, especially like in the SN or the Darth Jar Jar and A tier, Knights of the Old Republic would probably still be 1. I think this would be the order I would have it. This is how impactful it was in my childhood. I would probably bring this one just slightly up. Same with these. Maybe Bounty Hunter further back because it was good, but I don't want to say it was better than those games. And I'll even put it behind. Probably like around there. But yeah, I think that definitely the top 4 for sure are definitely the locks for me on the whole Darth Jar Jar tier. Let's go. Like, these games are all goated. Like, you can't go wrong. If you're gonna play any 4 games, these are the 4 games to play. Especially if you like a good story, and if you like a good story, Knights of the Old Republic, definitely. If you like good gameplay and a good story, and just being a menace. That's the Force Unleashed for sure. Um, all four of these games are really good. And if you want to go to A tier and even go to Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, that game was very fun. Kill Obi-Wan a bunch of times if you want to. It was very fun doing that. Love Obi-Wan, great character. Love Ewan McGregor, but it was just so satisfying just to see Anakin be successful on the flip and actually kill him. As bad as that is to say, I guess. But yeah, that's my tier maker list. I think I'm pretty good with it. Can't say I played any of these Angry Birds ones and stuff, but I think definitely for sure the top four, maybe five. Yeah, up to probably here is what I'm good with. Everything else I could easily change out. I'm not gonna order all these; it'd take too much time. But definitely that top four and even the fifth one, those are locked in for me. Definitely enjoyed it. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I think I am pretty much set. Uh, yeah, I think that would be it for me today. So thank you guys for watching. I know it was nothing super crazy, super eventful, but just a little trip, back to blast to the past, I guess. Back to the future. Here I come. Uh, but hope you all have a really good weekend. I hope you guys do a bunch of cool things. You guys stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Remember to channel your eagle powers, and may the force be with you always. Because I tell you right now, life can get rough, but you just gotta stay positive. But that is it for me. Your boy Nacho Jedi signing out. Take it easy and be blessed.